Welcome back into the Long Shot Podcast. We have Bobby Portis with us, a former McDonald's All-American and Mr. Basketball in the state of Arkansas. He went on to the University of Arkansas, where he was named SEC Player of the Year in his sophomore season, a first-round pick in the 2015 NBA Draft. Since then, he's had a few different stops in his NBA career, but now he has cemented himself as a legend in the streets of Milwaukee, known as the People's Champ by many, and now he's an NBA champion. Welcome to the podcast, Bobby Portis.
Appreciate you, big bro.
No, for sure. Thank you for joining us, man. First and foremost, we got to cover it right away. How's it feel to be an NBA champion?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. So we won a week ago today, and it's been crazy. Just the experience, it's the run we went on, the journey, just, getting to the league, trying to make a name, and then finally get to a spot where I feel like I'm comfortable there, where I can play my role and, just be myself. It's great having my mom and, all my family and friends there to support me through the entire process. I think that's the best part of it all.
For sure. I mean, you guys, this team had a lot of scrutiny, right? And some of that you inherited because you weren't there for the previous years. But obviously you show up beginning of this season, sign I believe a 1-year deal, right? In Milwaukee.
2-year but second-year player option.
Got you. And yeah, I mean, and now all of a sudden you guys are in the playoffs, making a run, and amidst all of the scrutiny, you guys start to play your best basketball of the season. Can you just talk a little bit about kind of the connection and the fluidity that you began to feel as the playoffs went on? Because I've learned that that's so important when it comes to winning and playing at a high level.
Yeah, for sure. I think the previous couple of years, the team, they was the number one team in the East, number one team in the league, actually. And they had a lot of pressure on them. There was a lot of, saying that, they can't win the playoffs, this and that. And them losing in the second round and gets East Conference Finals, getting up 2 games though, then losing 4 straight, all those things. And then this year, the pressure really wasn't on us anymore. We were the 3rd seed. Guys was just really talking about Philly, them being number one team. Talking about you guys, talking about Brooklyn with their big 3, and we kind of flew under the radar a little bit, so it was kind of perfect for us. Throughout the year, we played good basketball here and there, but we didn't really have a good stretch. We'll win 5 games, 6 games in a row, then we'll lose 4. Win 5 more than lose 4. Like, we never had a good stretch where it was just consistent. But when we got to the playoffs, I think our best basketball started to, really shape and unfold. And I think that's when you want to play your best basketball anyways, towards the end of the year. And it was fun for us, man. Everybody really had a defined role on our team. This was my first team where everybody really knew their role and everybody played their role to the best of their abilities. And that's why we was, really, victorious at the end.
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit about how like the media and stuff wasn't really talking about you guys. And I think it's funny because at least we always acknowledge, and I think players around the league and teams around the league understand or understood how much better you guys were this year from previous seasons, and that it was different. But there's always that disconnect between what's being said in mainstream media and what's actually happening. And I'm curious, like internally, like in your locker room, obviously there's a competitive side of you guys, so you all think you're good enough. But did you feel that there was that deep belief, like this is our year?
Like we always talked about winning the championship and being in the moment and just staying in the moment and things like that. Obviously, as a competitor and as a person that's only job is to get better every year, obviously, like you're always fighting towards trying to win a championship. That's always, your individual goals and things like that and team goals. But, as a whole, we never really talk about winning it. We just talked about standing in now, doing all the things necessary to get there. I think Coach Bud did a good job this year of just mixing things up on the defensive end, switching 1 through 5 and things like that. Not just standing the drop the entire time and letting guys destroy us and that. Just giving the opposing players, a different look here and there. So, to answer your question, obviously guys outside, guys that was within the league knew our team got better, but I don't think the media really kind of respected it a lot enough. But us internally, we never really talked about winning a championship. We just talked about taking it a day at a time, and you know, we got to the position that we're in now to be champs.
Yeah, you talk about doing different things defensively. The addition of you, I think, unlocked a lot of that because your versatility allowed you guys to have a different look. And that's one thing that, from at least my perspective, that made you guys so tough to prepare for is that you could play in so many different ways. You could play huge. There were lineups that you, Giannis, and Brooke were all getting rolled out there at the same time. You could play small with you or Giannis out there, and you guys are switching everything 1 through 5. You guys can play fast, get up and down. So for you, how was it? Was it natural to just kind of fit into that role? I mean, you're a guy like you're asked to come off the bench. You're very obviously good enough to be a starter in this league. Did that come easy? Did that come naturally? I imagine there's some sacrifice. There's some like having to come to terms with that kind of role change.
Hell yeah. So me coming from high school, I was McDonald's All-American and going to college player of the year. Then like when you get to the league, you have to find a niche and role. Everybody's not going to be a superstar, not going to be an all-star or max player type player. So you have to suddenly find a role that you can fit in. My first couple of years in the league, I kind of struggled with trying to figure that out. Then my third year, I hit it home. I was found my niche and found my role. Coming to this team was more of a bigger sacrifice for me because my previous team, the Knicks and the Bulls and the Wizards and things like that, I was getting 12, 13, 14 shots a game. And then I go from that to getting 8, 9. So I had to really just find other ways I could impact the game and impact winning. I really learned how to be a winner again coming here. Sacrificing is the biggest thing we want to win. And I had to sacrifice a lot this year. Took a big pay cut to come here as well, just to try to get my name back going and just try to, get some things going back for myself individually. And it all paid off. But man, yeah, like sacrifice is the biggest thing this year. Obviously, you always want more for yourself and things like that. But, when you're trying to impact winning and win, I mean, there's no other way to do it but to sacrifice.
Yeah, people say all the time how important sacrifice is for winning, but it's
Yeah.
almost like a cliche in that like it's easy to sacrifice until you are actually the one that's sacrificing. And it takes on championship teams guys like yourself that are capable of having a bigger role to buying into being great in what they do. That's definitely something like you talk about finding a role. I mean, that's like how I feel like I've been able to navigate the NBA and that I know what I am. I stay in my lane. I do what I do, and I just try to do it at a high level. But yeah, man, I think that your journey, right? Like you talk about some of your other stops. Sometimes that margin between like changing a perception is so fragile. Like you talk about even someone like a teammate of yours, like Giannis, he's, can't do it in the playoffs. He's a losing player, all this, whatever, all this noise. And I'm not saying any of that is valid, but then all of a sudden everything is just changed as soon as you win. Like it's like that old saying, like winning just solves everything. I'm curious how have you like able to like kind of wrap your mind around what winning this championship will do for your career moving forward?
Yeah. So obviously when you first get to the league, like you hear all the veterans saying like, winning is the most important thing. Like when you win, everybody wins. But you don't really understand that until you actually win. Like I've been on teams where, we were a playoff team my first couple of years with the Bulls. Then they started tanking and started to, they wanted, higher draft picks and things like that. So nobody really respects losing like that. So you kind of feel that side of it. But, this is my first opportunity, getting a chance to go deep into the playoffs, getting a chance to win a championship and impact winning. And, man, when you win, like, everything just changes for you and your family. And I'm just fortunate to be in this position. Obviously it was a long journey to get to this point. Only my 6th year and still young, 26 years old. But at the same time, just grateful for it, man. I got a chance to feel what it feels like to be a champion. Like, and that feeling that you have when the buzzer goes off and everybody know that you guys won and you knew how hard you worked to get to that point, all the work you put in to be there. The sacrifices you made, you know, all the COVID protocols you had to do this year, staying in a hotel,
Man.
testing twice, and then to get to that point and to win. I mean, that's bittersweet.
Bobby, you talk about all the ways that your basketball career changes. I watched Duncan's just celebrity change a little bit last year with the finals run. Just the amount of people in Miami who are recognizing him. You have taken that to another level, it seems. Like Duncan said in your intro, you're the people's champ. I think you're a legend in Milwaukee. A statue might be going up. So have you started to feel those? Like, I assume you walk into any place in Milwaukee and you're getting swarmed now at this point.
Yeah, so like when I played for the Bulls, it was crazy too. But obviously winning a championship and in a small market team, and you know, they really appreciate all their guys, man. Like it's crazy when I go anywhere in Milwaukee, like I hear Bobby, like they outside of the gym, like, and it's like it's crazy. Like after our championship game, we had went out and things like that for like the celebration. And everybody in the spot was saying, Bobby. I'm like, bro, like what? Like, bro, is this real life? Like, this crazy. I definitely feel it. I haven't paid for anything here to eat yet. So I'm loving it right now.
Hey, I'm curious, man. I want to know, what do like the next 3-4 days after winning a championship look like? Like you don't have to disclose everything. Obviously, there's probably some things that are, you know, better left unsaid, but like just give the people like a general idea of what that looks like.
So you win the championship. Obviously, you do all the media afterwards and taking the pictures with your fan with the trophy and just in all that you won. And then that night we go out and have a blast home. So we don't get in until 7, 8 in the morning, bro. Like, it was crazy. Like,
and you're going out in Milwaukee?
And this is my first time ever going out in Milwaukee. Like, I never went out in Milwaukee besides that night. That was my first time ever. And I had a blast. I like it. It's big. And then the next couple of days, like, you have the parade and things like that. And still champagne getting popped. And it's like a undescribable feeling that you have. Like, when you see 600,000-700,000 fans, like, in the parade, like it's next level, like literally. Like I've never seen that many people in one place in my life. Like it was nuts.
See, because I was curious if like you guys would make a move to like a Chicago or like maybe get on a flight to New York, like, you know, like do something. Yeah. With all due respect to Milwaukee, like if you're going to celebrate, there's probably a better place to celebrate. But at the same time, at least you're celebrating in the market that you actually won it, so you're getting all sorts of love. So I see both sides.
Yeah, it's fun though. I ain't gonna lie, like I like Milwaukee. Milwaukee cool though. It's better than people think it is. You know, it's better than what it. It's definitely better than what it is, man. Obviously, like, you know, the bigger markets have the better food places and, you know, the higher name food places and things like that. But being in Milwaukee is great. It's great people there. You know, it's a sports town. They really love their sports. They love all the guys on the team. You know, sometimes you might go to a team where they only like the guys with the big names. So, you know, in Milwaukee, they love all the guys, man. You go anywhere, you get love. People cheer for you. They got your back, and, you know, they're just fanatics, bro. Like, you know, sometimes it's like there's a difference between like, oh, he's a fan and he's a fanatic. Like, these guys really been fans forever, like generational fans. Like, it's passed down through the line. Like, oh yeah, if you're from Wisconsin, you have to be a Packers fan. You have to be a Bucks fan. Like, there's no other fans in Milwaukee but the Bucks and the Packers. So it's fun, man.
Bobby, in high school, Duncan and I won a championship together, but we were 18 years old, so we were pouring water bottles on each other. I think there's a little more champagne when you win a championship in the NBA. I gotta know, in your interview with Pat, how much champagne had you guys drank at that point? Because you got asked the question, and it was just...
I was out of there. I was out of there. Like, I only like, after I watched it the next day, I'm like, damn, like I really did the interview like that. Like, and they let me do that. we had a blast. Like, we in the locker room, that was like, you know, like sometimes like with your friends, you might have like a get together and y'all all hang out and have a good time, barbecue, whatever it was. It was like a party in the locker room, not gonna lie. It was like a party amongst all the guys. We just having a good time amongst each other. You got whatever you need right there.
For sure. Are they like allowing family and everything in the locker room, or is there a moment where it's like, this is just players, this is just us celebrating like what we accomplished?
So when we first got back there, it was just players, and then some of our family members started coming back, like from time to time too. It was time for them to come as well, so it was pretty packed, and it was a movie for sure.
For sure.
Like, yeah, it was a movie.
I want to talk a little bit about your story prior to getting to the NBA. People see the accolades. You mentioned you're a McDonald's All-American, SEC Player of the Year, all that stuff. I want to talk more about the stuff that doesn't get talked about as much, which is the adversity that you go through and overcome to get to those points. You grew up in Arkansas. Just talk a little bit about like early on and whatever, adversity comes in different forms that allowed you to really like embrace this underdog mentality that you now have.
Just coming from Arkansas, not too many people really make it to, the NBA or make it to be a pro or whatever it is. We have a few. We got Joe Johnson. He's decorated, 7, 8-time All-Star. We got Derek Fisher, 5-time champ, but then we got Corliss Williamson and Sidney Moncrief. But after those 4 guys, you really can't name nobody else. And I had big dreams and aspirations of being an NBA player. And I had all these goals written down, like as a kid, like I want to be a McDonald's All-American. I want to go to Arkansas. I want to be a Jordan Brand class 1 on the USA team in high school. And I had all these goals. I used to like show people these goals in high school and in middle school and stuff. And they looked at me crazy, like, bro, ain't no way you can do all that. Like no way. Like from Arkansas, no way. And then by my senior year in high school, like January, I had all my goals checked off that I wanted to do. Like it was crazy. And just being from here, man, it's great, man. It gives you like another outlook on life, man. Like as a kid, I grew up in 18 different houses. My mom, she worked tirelessly to take care of me and my little brothers. She never complained though, never wavered, just always just worked as hard as she could to take care of us. We never wanted for anything, no food or none of that. We always had clothes on our backs and food to eat. But times is always hard. Everybody's situation is different. And with us, it was pretty tough. But my mom, she's the true definition of hard work and being an underdog, man. Just I seen her never complain. I seen her just, get up at 3 a.m, come back, take us to school at 7, 8, go back to work, come pick us up at 3, take me to work out at 4, sleep in the car for a little minute while I'm working out, and go do it all over the next day and for the rest of the week and for the rest of the month. So I seen her really just, show me how to work hard, and that's how I'm in this position I'm in now.
Shout out to Mom. What's her reaction now that you're an NBA champion? How'd she take it in?
She's like my number 1 fan, man. So with her, everything I do is just like she loves it. She supports me through everything, through the ups and downs. You always need people in your corner that's going to be there for you when it's high and when it's low. Obviously, people, they'll always come around when everything's good. But, my mom, she's one of those special people, man. Even when, things wasn't going well for me, she's always told me to stick with it, stay with it. And, it'll always come around. And she just always told me to work hard. So, shout out to her for sure, man. Without her, I would definitely not be in this position I am to maximize my career and things like that. She came to almost all my playoff games. And my first couple of years in the league, my mom was still working, and she was still working her 3, 4 in the morning job because she wanted to. Like, that's just how she is. That's how she's wired. And then my 3rd or 4th year, she finally stopped working and things like that. So she was able to come to almost all my playoff games. So that was pretty special to her to be in the building.
Yep. I assume now you can return the favor and take care of her. Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard an interview with you in the last week where I think you referenced that she came out and celebrated with you guys.
She actually came out. So all my friends and family that was there with me, they all came out and had a good time too. We had a little section, like we had the whole entire spot, man. And to have my mom there, like, keep in mind, like, I've never seen my mom drink anything. Like she a margarita or something, like a frozen margarita or something here and there. But my mom took a couple shots with us though. So that was
if there was ever a time, it's after you would have shipped.
That was pretty impressive for sure.
You talk about in your senior year, having all these accolades checked off, and all of a sudden, you're coming from an area, like you said, where not a lot of people are now doing what you're doing. How do you manage and handle not only the expectations that you're now putting on yourself, but the expectations that you're feeling from all over?
I mean, now it's easy, man. Because in life, man, it's all about change. Sometimes it's all about just adapting to your environment. Like, when you want something in life, obviously you have to sacrifice too, but you have to adapt to what's around you. And I do a good job of, not trying to listen to anyone else's expectations. Every year of my career and of my basketball life since I was in ninth grade, I always try to write down my goals for every year. And after the season or after whatever season it is, I look back and see which ones I had checked off. And then the ones I don't have checked off, I move them on to the next year and try to get them again. So I just try to keep myself self-motivated in everything I do. But anyone else's expectations on myself or, whatever I need to do on the court to be successful or whatever they feel like I need to do, I don't really listen to those. I used to when I was younger because we used to be stuck on ESPN and see this and see that. But now as I've gotten older, I've been easier to cope with it.
For sure. I'm curious also, like, you reach the pinnacle, right, of the NBA, and that you win an NBA championship. You got people in Milwaukee, screaming your name in bars in the celebration. I don't question for a sec that you'll be complacent or comfortable, because I know how you're wired just in this short time that we've been talking. But like, how do you still, after something like this, just add to the chip, right? Like, how do you still keep pushing that underdog mentality forward?
Because, man, it's a way of life. Underdog, just not in sports. I use it as a way of life, man. When you come from where you come from, and when you work as hard as you can to get to, where you want to get to, and you overcome all those things, that's the underdog story. It goes for people that want to be an inspiring nurse, want to be an inspiring doctor, they want to be a firefighter, wherever it is. Like, I rep that for everybody. And if I stop now and just because we won, or whatever it is, then I'm giving up on myself, because I know where I came from. So with me, I just try to stay self-motivated, stay in the gym. Obviously, I love basketball. I'm going to work as hard as I can to get better. And truthfully and honestly, like, us as NBA players, that's our only goal every year, is to add something new to our game and get better and stay sharp. So if I stay complacent and stay content to where I'm at now, I just think that's a recipe for disaster. That's anybody in life, in whatever they do. When you have a little success, that doesn't mean that there isn't any more out there for you. So just staying self-motivated and staying down and believing in myself, and just keep working hard as I can, because I want to play basketball at least another decade, another 9-10 years. So hopefully there could be more championships. I got a taste of what it feels like. And that feeling, I want that feeling again.
Yeah, you said it right there in your answer, but it's still crazy to me how, as a professional basketball player, really your only objective every morning when you wake up is, how do I become a better player? How do I maximize this day to become a better player? And for me, like, it's helped me think of it that way. It's helped me simplify, what I mean? Like, the days, and just that, like, all right, let's just keep stacking. Let's just keep building. So with that being said, what's this now shortened, really, off season look like for you? We can maybe touch on the free agency stuff in a little bit, but more so from like a personal development standpoint. You've shown what you can do in the playoffs. You've shown how valuable you can be for a contender. From your personal standpoint, your game, what's it look like moving forward?
With me, obviously, training camp is in 2 months, or tomorrow. I think it's like September 28th. So
crazy, bro.
It's right around the corner. So with me, just trying to be in as best of shape as possible. Obviously, that's a big part of our games, is being in shape as possible, and just keep stacking every day. Keep getting better in every aspect of my game. Obviously staying sharp on my shooting. That's one thing that can affect the game in as well. Keeping my motor high, that comes with being in shape as well. And then was working on the ball skills, dribbles out the post, moves out the post, dance, drop on my 3 moves I love to do. I'm out of the post. It's real simple when you simplify the game and know your role or whatever role that you can fit on the team. I think it kind of just gets better on that end. But for me, like I said, man, just staying in shape as much as possible. Obviously, take a week or two off now because it's been a long year. But after that, hit the ground rolling, get right back to it, keep my body right. Being around Giannis and Chris and Drew, just Giannis in general, man. He's really motivated me, to really get in the weight room and things like that. He's a different beast, man. I see a guy like that work every day, put the work in. I see greatness, and that just makes me want more. Like coming to the Bucks, I watched him every day, and the things he does, he works, man. That's one thing people need to really understand. The man really works. That's one thing I really take from him, man. He really dedicates himself to this game. He lives hard every day, keeps his body right, eats the right thing, and I just think that's a perfect layout to follow.
Yeah, I stole this from somebody else, but it was a coach who said that an easy way to have a great culture is to have your best players be your hardest workers.
Sure.
And that right there just sets the tone for everything down the line. When you first got to Milwaukee, what did you see different about not necessarily the team, but maybe just like the group as a whole, the culture that was being harvested there? Was it different than your previous stops?
Hell yeah, like when you plan on, I hate to say like the tanky teams and loser team, but that's a real thing in the league. When you plan on, teams that's not playing for the playoffs or have aspirations of being champions. So sometimes the coaches let things slip, man. Like they let, defensive coverages slip, or they let a offensive rebound or a fucking defensive rebound when you didn't box out slip, or all this other stuff, Xing out on the backside or whatever it is, trapping the box, whatever it is. They let things slip sometimes. A lot of times, actually. When you're playing on a contender and playing on a winning team, every possession matters. Like everything gets simplified. They want this and that from you. Like everybody knows their job and you have to do it. And it's like when everybody's on one accord, the shit's beautiful. Like the defense is easy. It makes everything easier on you. When I know if I'm the low man, I go help trap in the slide line drive, I know that the top man's going to help me. So I can just get back to his man easily if they skip it. So it's just everything's just different when you're playing for, a championship team that has the aspirations of winning. And then it just makes the game much more funner to play too. When I first got there, I knew I would love it. I would love it right off, man. Everybody was so genuine, and everybody really, I could tell, like, I'm a people person. Like, I can sense things with people, man. And I had a sense that everybody was really hungry. Like, everybody was working hard. I've been on teams where people complain about this and that. Nobody complained about what time they had to be in and none of that. And everybody was just working, going hard. And guys really coach each other up. So, I think we had a player-led team, man. And I think that really kind of helped us.
Yeah, you mentioned accountability being a staple of like a good culture, and you talk about coaches, and at the end there you talk about player-led. And I think what I've noticed about the best teams or most connected teams that I've been on is when the accountability is driven by the players. And that if you're missing trapping the box, or if you trap the box and somebody doesn't sink and fill,
they're going to let you know.
Exactly. It's not coming from you getting yanked out the game or coming from the coach saying you got to do that. It's coming from the guy who just trapped the box, or even somebody else who's looking by and saying, hold up, that's your teammate, that's your brother who just went and helped another one of your teammates. Like, that's on you. That's where the responsibility falls on you, to have his back.
Like Chris Middleton, man, like I can't stress enough how important he was for me this year, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like I played defense before, but like sometimes I would just try to get back on offense, try to get the ball again sometimes, like when I was in the league. But now with him, like, he's different, bro. Like he really makes you lock in. Like if I miss a fucking box out or something, he gonna let me know. He gonna show it to me. Like, you should have boxed out. I heard this and that. If I don't try to get every rebound that he on me, Like if I'm not sliding on defense or trying to be in half-ass, he on me. Like, I don't know. It's just like a different level of respect that I have for him now, knowing that he wants it that bad and knowing how locked in he is. And, he's the guy that don't really say much at all, but to his teammates he talks, but he don't say nothing on the court. But he sure be on my ass for sure.
As somebody who's been guarded by Chris Middleton for the last 2 years, I know how on top of his shit he is when it comes to details. Like normally throughout a game, I can catch people slipping here or there. You know what I mean? Like they just take a break, right? Because for me, it's like I just need that initial separation. And then once I have the separation, I can like kind of create space and find space. With Chris, seems like he's always locked in. And he's not the fastest either, but he's like physical and he knows he's like smart with how he defends. But he's dialed in, man. And the other thing too is like you mentioned it, he doesn't seem like a super vocal person, but it's interesting to hear that he's driving a lot of that stuff because you see like obviously there are animated, and I'm not like coming at anyone particular, but like there's different ways to lead, right? Like you can have the animated people that are doing their thing, and I'm not saying it's all antics because I think you need that also, but it's great to hear that somebody like Chris is kind of what's driving it behind the scenes, and internally it seems like you guys all acknowledge that for what it is.
Hell yeah, for sure. Obviously everybody has their day. Drew might say something some days. PJ might say something some days. And so we already know Giannis gonna say his things though. So, I just think it's cool that, all our vets, guys that's, been stamped in this league, been in this league a long time, and, they've got to the playoffs and had their failures, their ups and downs. They know what it takes to get there. All those guys be vocal and really just lead us into the right direction, man. As a team, man, you need that to win. We need guys being vocal. Obviously, the coach can tell you what to do and the coach can draw up plays, but the coach can't go out there and play for you. So, obviously, like we're the guys out there playing our hearts out and trying to be the best, version of ourselves every night. So, I just think that it's critical that, when you're fighting towards that, the guys that you're going to battle with are connected, and you guys can communicate. And obviously, sometimes it's going to be some rocky, discussions. It's going to be some arguments. It's going to be some highs and lows. But at the end, it's all love, man. We all trying to win. We all trying to, get paid. We all trying to take care of our family. So, we can be doing something entirely different, but God had this plan for us to be basketball players. So, we just try to maximize it to our best of our abilities.
It does seem like there's oftentimes this youth movement from front offices in the NBA, but I think like you guys say, it just goes to show the importance of having veteran guys who are, like you guys are talking about, are willing to call you out, know the ropes, can teach you.
I think all like young teams that's trying to rebuild, like instead of like drafting all young guys and things like that, like get you a couple, young studs that you really believe in. And then, it might cost to pay a couple guys to come in and for a 2-3 year deal to help groom these guys. I just think that's the best way to do it. Like you see some teams like it's just all young guys, and like ain't no way like you can win like that. I've been on teams where it's all us is 23, 22, 24 years old. And we don't have no veterans that's been there to teach us anything. So, when you're trying to rebuild a franchise, obviously, you have to start with the draft and draft the best available player that you feel like that you believe in. But I just think it's critical that you bring in older guys that's been in the league, that's been to the playoffs, that's felt what it feels like to get there, to, put that battery in these other guys back to, want them, to bring the best out of them as well.
Because the other side of that too is, and you mentioned it, you see teams all over that are basically playing for draft picks, right? Ping pong balls, whatever you want to call it. But the danger of that is the lack of accountability leads to just bad habits. Once you develop 2, 3, 4 years of bad habits, it's really, really hard to then year 5 and 6 say, okay, now we have some expectations because you guys are older, whatever. Now you got to play winning basketball. It's like that's a hard switch to just flip.
Now you just changing coaches every time, blaming the coach when really it's not the coach.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's definitely it's a problem. And I think that you see a lot of young players that have so much ability and so much talent. And that's why I always come back to, like, I'm curious what you think about this, but like, situation is everything, and fit and opportunity. Like, obviously in all levels of basketball, but I think particularly as you move up higher, because everybody can play, everybody has ability. So it's like, who are you surrounded
Minutes make
by?
you stronger.
Right. Exactly.
Where like all you need is the opportunity, the minutes, and the time, man, and self-belief, and the sky's the limit in the league. Most guys get drafted higher. Like, I know you was undrafted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so most guys get drafted higher than you and whatever it is. But, sometimes, like, in the combine, like, what kills me, like, in the combine, you do all these testing. Like, they do the vertical. They do all these testing, but you can't test what's inside my heart. Like, you can't test if I'm going to be able to go out there and keep working through adversity. You can't test if I'm going to go out there and, give my all to the team. Like, you can't, like some things you can't test in the combine. So they do all these tests to draft guys or whatever, and the guys are slotted to go here and there. But, like, you just never know who's going to pan out. So, like, with me, man, opportunity and situation is everything, man. Like, I was on the team with the Bulls. I was behind Joakim Noah, Pau Gasol, Taj Gibson. So all those guys just made me better. Like, obviously, like, I didn't play my first, like, 2-3 weeks there, but being around them, just seeing how hard they work, how hard they wanted it, like, that just made me want it more for myself as well and not give up, because I seen, oh, yeah, these Pau Gasol's in his 16th year. He's still going hard, like, So just being around that just made me better. But like you said, man, opportunity and situation, that's everything, man, in this league. And life, and that's in life as well, man, just opportunity and situation.
Yeah, I just think there's different ways to develop. I feel like people try to look at development in one light, right? Like, we got to give this guy, he's our first round pick. We got to play this guy. We got to give him opportunity. It's like, all right, well, what if he's not contributing to winning? What if he's not actually impacting winning? Now all of a sudden, like, we're doing him a disservice because he's not ready, but we're also doing ourselves a disservice because we're losing. Like, and it's a slippery slope. But like, you talk about your development playing behind guys who had done it at a high level, and what that does between the ears, and also just every day, like, seeing how they show up. And obviously, like, you're a unique person because you have that heart, that spirit that is like, I love everything stacked against me, which is as much as it's talked about, people love to talk about that, and it's cliche, but it's different when it's actually real and in practice. And I feel like you can see, like truth always comes to light, right? Like, people can talk about, oh, I'm an underdog, because that's one of my biggest things that I think is funny, is like, everybody pits themselves as an underdog no matter what. Yeah. But there's actually, like, people that actually live it. And it's cool to hear you say that, like, this underdog stuff, it's not a season to season thing. Like, this is a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle for sure, man. Just, I see it a lot too. I see a lot of people, like, saying it and tweeting it and saying this and that. Like, I see a lot of guys that's like, bro, like, you had, like, way more opportunity than anyone else. Like, you were a lottery pick. Like, I already think that's an underdog. Like, if you're a lottery pick, then obviously, like, you're gonna have ample time to mess up. Like, they had so much time to mess up and this and that. And even if that one team don't work out, another team's gonna pick them up because, they're lottery picks. Like, and they still feel like there's something in them that they can get out of them. So, just being an underdog, man, it's different, man. Like, I really rep it. Like, I was at the bottom, man. Like, coming from Arkansas, nobody really thought I was gonna be a McDonald's All-American, SEC Player of the Year. Like, I used to tell, like, I told one of my best friends, he was my roommate in college, that I was gonna be SEC Player of the Year this year, and he looked at me crazy. And this is my best friend. He looked at me crazy. We talk about it all the time. I told him this year, like, oh yeah, like, I'm not gonna sign back with New York. Like, I'm just gonna go to Milwaukee for $3 million. He was like, for what? And I'm like, because we're gonna win the championship this year. And he was like, yeah, all right, bro. Like, you sound crazy. And then when I did it, I FaceTime right afterwards. He was like, oh, this is crazy, bro. My bad. So everybody says that they're that, but it's different, man. Like, I've been, like, suspended in the league, and everybody had these stigmas on me for, like, being a bad guy, like that's an underdog. Like nobody believed in it. Nobody thought that I would get to the point where I am now in my career, and now it's just what it is now.
For sure.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up here. Before you go, I want to ask, when you look back on your career, is there a certain point that you realize, looking back, had maybe even more significance than in the moment you realized, in terms of like providing you a springboard for your success, or help shape a perspective, whether it be like, an experience or a relationship with a coach or something like that, that was really like instrumental in your career now looking back?
I got a couple of them. I'm gonna share three of them. My
Love
first
it.
one, was in Chicago. I wasn't playing as much. Like when you're not playing as a rookie and things like that, it's tough on you, man. Like coming from college, you got a lot of minutes, you got to shoot the basketball you want to shoot. So obviously, like I said before, you got to find your role and find your niche. I was on a team with Derrick Rose, Jimmy. I was on a team with those guys, and they were playing and fighting for the playoffs and things like that. And then I just like asked my coaches, Randy Brown and Pete Myers, like, how do I get on the court? Like, I was asking them all the time. They were just like, stay ready. Always stay ready in this league. Just never know what's going to happen. Players get traded. Players get injured. They knocked on wood. Players get injured. Crazy things happen in this league. You just never know. This is a league that you like. You just never know what's going to happen. Like they might not love you next year. So just stay down, stay humble, keep working hard, and then like I swear to God, like I don't know if they jinxed it or not, but like a week or two later, like Joe Kim blew his shoulder out, and then I got in the lineup. It was like crazy. So just always staying ready, being ready in the moment, being ready for your moment, because it just takes one moment for you to get noticed in this league. And for a coach, like if a coach throws you out there for 3-4 minutes at the end of the game, like that's not garbage time in the NBA. Like people on the NBA Twitters or the NBA socials might say, oh yeah, he's doing this in garbage time or whatever. But when you're a young guy trying to get some experience, like all those minutes matter. And when you go out there for 3-4 minutes, coach is still watching it in the game, still watching who's doing that. And you earn more time by still going hard and showing what you can do in those minutes. That's the first one. Another thing that kind of helped shape my career was the altercation with me and Miritich. I had a lot of stigma on me that I'm a bad locker room guy, I'm a bad teammate, that I sucker punched him, whatever it was. But all the guys that was there knew what happened. Even the front office knew what happened. Just being in that moment kind of brought me to like a real low point in my life, to where everybody was saying these negative things about me. And it kind of turned that light bulb in my head a little bit. It kind of made me go extremely harder than I was. That year I had my coming out party in the league. I really kind of got my name back right. I had my best year of my career that third year up until that point. Start averaging double figures in the league, and things like that. So that situation right there, I just tried to turn that negative to the positive, show guys that I can really play this game too. Because before that, I had up and down years. I really wasn't, established yet in the league. So guys was kind of writing me off, and that really helped me. And last year with the Knicks, just being at home during the entire time. My last game with the Knicks was like March 11th, March 12th, 2020. And shit, I didn't play another NBA game until December 23rd, 2020. So I was off like 9-10 months, and having a chance to come home with my mom and my 3 little brothers just gave me a chance to, really enjoy life again, to really enjoy being around them, to really enjoy and get back at peace in life, man. I wasn't at peace before that. I was high and I was low, but now I'm more even keeled now. I'm enjoying the journey, enjoying the marathon that I'm running, man. Everybody's race in life going to be different, man. And, I'm just running my own race.
Man, I love it, man. That's
you dominate it. You dominated that question.
I was gonna say that's high level right there, bro.
Yeah.
We can wrap it up right with that. You heard it here first, man, from the people's champ. Run your race. Hey, I appreciate you joining us, man. I know you got all sorts of stuff going on right now, and all sorts of people, trying to get at you. So I appreciate you taking the time to chop it up with us for a little bit.
Love, Brody.
All right, be good, man. Enjoy the off season.
For sure, you too.